A warning for listeners. This episode contains descriptions of violence and death. We advise listener discretion.
It was just sort of a twisted little path that I took from doomsday prepping to deciding that I wanted to kill people.
A twisted little path. That's how Robert Bever describes the months of planning leading up to the murders. A path that would turn an ordinary suburban home into the scene of one of Oklahoma's deadliest family killings.
Robert, you've been incarcerated for 10 years. What is your life like in here?
I have more time than I know what to do with, and so I've picked up things like meditation and, sleeping a lot. But what I do mostly every day is I pass a lot of time writing. I write books, I write letters to people, and I do a little bit of journaling.
You're likely wondering how this interview came to be. I had questions leading up to the 10-year anniversary, questions that couldn't be answered by case files or police reports, questions that brought me face to face with one of Oklahoma's worst killers. When I reached out to Robert, I didn't expect to hear back. But I did. He mentioned that the time that's now passed makes up more than a third of his life. I still wonder sometimes how this is real, he wrote. There were weeks of messages back and forth with him and with his girlfriend. Then after a decade of silence, Robert Bever agreed to his first interview. And I went into Oklahoma's oldest state prison in search of answers. Big Mac, as it's known, is in McAlester, Oklahoma. That's about an hour and a half south of Tulsa, a maximum security facility that houses some of the state's most dangerous offenders. When I arrived, Robert was already waiting for me, seated at a table in a room lined with vending machines. The now 29-year-old was wearing an orange jumpsuit. His hands and feet were shackled.
Why are you talking now?
When the 10th anniversary came around, I was expecting there to be a lot of publicity about it, and I wanted everybody to be thinking about my family. And I didn't really get that from what I saw. I mean, I didn't watch the news very closely, and guys that had seen it on TV were asking me questions. And I sort of decided that if I was going to talk to somebody, I was going to erase myself from the record. I may have failed. I don't know if I've done enough of a service for you guys and avoided talking about myself. But what happens that night is supposed to be about them. And as an added bonus, I know a lot about how a homicidal maniac thinks, and I just want it to stop.
Interviewing Robert risks giving him undue attention, but it can also shed light on the factors that led to this tragedy. The intent isn't to amplify his voice, it's to provide context that serves the public's understanding. In this episode, you'll hear portions of our conversation and the deeply disturbing details of how the plan took shape.
I pictured myself doing the most... It still sounds impressive for some reason, doesn't it? Full body armor, weapons, ammunition, shooting at cars, they blow up or something, you know?
I'm Brenna Rose, and this is Massacre on Magnolia Court, Episode 3, The Plan.
Now to the latest on breaking news in Broken Arrow, that family of 5 stabbed to death. Channel 8's Bert Mumlo joining us now on the exclusive information obtained by Channel 8 about what happened.
By the evening news on July 23, 2015, details of what had been in the works for months started to emerge.
Law enforcement sources are telling us that they have received a full confession from one of the suspects, that within that confession is the admission that all of this death and carnage was planned.
It would be nearly 3 years before the public saw the video of what that confession looked like. Michael Bever in a police interrogation room outlining the plan him and his brother had set in motion.
And a couple months ago, we started talking about voodoo and rampage and stuff like that.
The word rampage wasn't just a description of what had already happened, but what was intended to come next. Their plan was to kill everyone inside the home first, before stealing the family car and embarking on a killing spree.
Tell me what plans you started making and coming up with.
Well, originally, I think Cat stayed throughout the month. We went to kill everyone at the house first.
Okay.
And then wait for all the packages to show up over the weekend. And then we take the Yukon to get our state with the guns.
Did you know where you were going to drive to?
Towards Washington.
Washington State or DC?
Washington State.
Detective Eric Bentz is the voice that you hear asking Michael those questions. It's been 10 years, but the details of what the brothers plotted are impossible for him to forget.
They had planned to go to like big populated areas like a restaurant or a gas station or, a Target or something, and just pull into the parking lot and start shooting people. And they were gonna make Molotov cocktails and they were gonna create so much chaos that they would kill 5 or 6 people and then just drive to the next state and do it again.
Back in the interrogation room, 16-year-old Michael explains how the talk had turned more serious when Robert started buying body armor online.
Robert's had his license started, and we've been buying it.
Was it shipped to the house? Yeah. Do your parents know? Did they know it?
They knew he had bulletproof vests. They always thought that was a little wild, but they don't say anything about it. He had a soft Kevlar vest, a heavy, it's like a metal-plated vest.
Okay.
He had a helmet, bulletproof helmet, a bulletproof DEA mask, and like knife-proof arm down here.
And then the body armor that you had, what was it like?
It was almost like,
Detective Bentz wanted to know what the parents saw and if they had any idea what their sons were planning. It's a question that still lingers and one that we'll dig into later in the series. Did anyone in that home truly understand what was coming? Was it premeditation fueled by fantasy, or did something push the brothers over the edge? The plan, Robert says, was born out of a series of mishaps.
I had no friends. I had nothing to do.
He says he was kicked out of several online chat groups, crashed the hard drive of his computer, accidentally reset his PlayStation, and then there was girl trouble.
I decided to try to start over, from zero. And I was kind of drawn to body armor for some reason. I wanted to doomsday prep. So I bought myself a bulletproof vest.
Why did you buy it?
I thought it was cool, and believe it or not, as stupid as it sounds, I felt safe when I wore it. I walked right up to my dad when I was wearing my bulletproof vest, and I told him, this is my life preservation rig. Nobody messes with me when I'm wearing this. And he just
His eyes widen, shaking his head, imitating how he says his dad reacted.
Did he say anything?
No, he didn't.
So he didn't question why you bought the body armor?
No. And my mom didn't either at first until then I bought a helmet. And instead of coming in a box, it came wrapped in a trash bag. And some mom was like, your helmet is here. I bought arm guards, all the stuff that I used that night and more. And then my mom started getting worried.
But he didn't stop there. He bought knives and ammunition that was scheduled to arrive the very next day. There were also guns. Robert ordered 3 firearms online, though he hadn't picked them up yet. Oklahoma law would have prevented him from buying a handgun at the age of 18, but he could have legally purchased a shotgun. The owner of a Broken Arrow gun shop says he never suspected anything was wrong with the teen. Here's what he had to say back in 2015.
He was real polite on the phone and real courteous. And I didn't think anything more about it at that time until the next morning after they'd committed the murders.
Behind that polite exterior was a fascination with killers. Detectives would uncover that the brothers weren't just inspired by mass shootings, they wanted to outdo them. Back in the interrogation room, Michael explains what his brother hoped to achieve.
He wanted to beat the kill amount of other famous people like Columbine and James Egan Holmes.
Okay. Are those like serial killers or something?
Well, like Columbine?
Yeah.
Columbine and James Egan Holmes. James Egan Holmes is a guy that shot at the theater.
In Colorado?
Yeah, he killed 12 and
Wow. How many were killed in Columbine?
Columbine, 15.
Okay.
I think.
So did you guys have a goal? Did you have a number?
He just wanted, I think he wanted to kill 50.
You heard that correctly. He said 50 people.
When I interviewed Robert, he would name specific serial killers and how many kills they had. And he was naming people that I wasn't familiar with. And of course, being in law enforcement, I'm familiar with a few, nationally recognized ones. And he would name one and I would kind of know roughly who it was or maybe even what state it happened in. But he could tell you the state, how many people they killed, where they are now. I idolized serial killers. And they both talked about their goal was to have a high body count. So they had plans to go kill as many people as they could after they murdered their whole family. That was the big plan. I have every belief that had they got the guns, had they got out of the house, the very first place they stopped and did that, they would have been either killed or taken into custody right away. They wouldn't have got away from that type of chaos.
Did he really believe that larger plan could actually succeed? I asked him directly.
You said you're going to go on a killing spree. What was your end game?
I used the word endgame without realizing the double meaning until I was back in my newsroom reviewing the interview. Listen closely to his response.
A shootout with the police. It still sounds impressive for some reason, doesn't it? Full body armor, weapons, ammunition, shooting at cars, they blow up or something, I get hit a couple times, I go down, I take myself out or something. I just had so much rage inside of me, so much homicidal rage.
He spoke about his plan to kill in a way that suggested he viewed it like a game, likening it to a video game so popular you or someone you know has likely played it.
Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto? If you get 5 stars as a criminal, every special forces and police in the game surround you, and if you can manage to hold on for a while, you get experience points for it. But I was just like, that's not why I played Grand Theft Auto. I played it for the clothing and the cars and stuff. I had this fantasy of doing that, being 5 stars and having just a ridiculous gun battle with the police.
But unlike Grand Theft Auto, the consequences were real and irreversible. As for that blueprint for mass murder, what kept it from going according to plan?
It was stopped by
the 13-year-old.
Crystal's brief escape outside of the home and Daniel's 911 call got officers inside faster than the brothers expected.
My brother's attacking my family.
What's important to remember now is that because of Daniel making the 911 call and Crystal getting out the front door to leave a trail of blood, for him to be able to kick that door in and us get those brothers in custody immediately.
Police found Robert and Michael hiding in the woods behind their home. Their plan for a nationwide killing spree stopped before it even started. Robert describes the chaos of that night even now as if it were a memory that doesn't belong to him.
I laid down on the floor and I just gave up. And I don't know how long I laid there for, but I guess Michael thought I must have killed myself or something, because he came in the room, he looked at me and he was like, whoa. He was like, are you okay? And I remember just laying there and I got up and I started grabbing body armor, and I grabbed as much as I could carry, And I told Michael to grab as much body armor as he could carry. I was like, we've got to get out of here. I think my reasoning at the time was I didn't want to get shot when the police came into the house. I wanted them to like at least have to track me down, and so we went out into the woods and I laid down again. And I just kind of was like, this isn't real. There's no way this is real. For a split second, I remembered everything that led up to that point. And then I lost all of it. And I was like, I can never fix this.
And soon, both he and Michael would have to face the consequences of their actions. Next on Massacre on Magnolia Court.